It is time for us to visit with a couple of gentlemen from the Rotary as we talk about the Luxury Raffle. And the great benefit that comes from that Luxury Raffle is some wonderful organizations are able to get some funding in order to do some good projects. And that is what we're really here to talk about with Bill Geiger and with Dana Henry. Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning. Good morning.
It's good to have you both with us here today. So that is really the case, isn't it? It is time for the application period.
Get your cards and letters in.
We have started the process of putting together grant applications. Over the years, we've given away about $430,000 in grants to organizations and entities in Indiana County. If you go to the Rotary website at indianarotary.org, there is a application that you can download. It's very specific on what we need from you to be eligible for a grant. Right now, the grants run anywhere between $2,000 up to about $5,000. We think that that's pretty generous, that we think that we're looking to fund projects perhaps that don't exist yet and be able to fund that project to its entirety. So that's what we're up to. The date that we need to have those applications in, it was just extended today until June the 28th, which is a Friday. We need to get those in. I would tell you that, for instance, last year we benefited the Indiana Community Garden, the Evergreen Boys and Girls Clubs of Indiana County, Four-Footed Friends, and we also benefited the restoration of the Jimmy Stewart airplane at the Jimmy Stewart Airport. So we're very proud of what we do. The Rotary Luxury Raffle itself actually comes up on November the 9th, and we'll be doing that at the Indiana Country Club. That's where we started our events, and we're moving back there this year, so it's on the 9th.
Bill,
Indiana Country Club.
Let's talk to Bill for a little bit. Bill, we're thinking about organizations which, and one of the criteria for the grants is this is a project-oriented grant. It's
right. We're looking for typically either a new initiative, some program that hasn't existed, and that an organization is trying to get started. So, and also for things that are bricks and mortar or equipment, things that will have kind of a lasting effect. So that's really what we're looking for, a lasting impact, either through helping to initiate a new program that will continue or through providing some sort of material support that will also continue to be a service to the charitable organization we're sponsoring.
Okay. And
applications cannot be considered for general operating expenses, funds for support of salaries, anything like that. It's like Bill said, we're actually looking for new brick and mortar projects to make a difference.
And the themselves, who is eligible?
They have to be a 501c3, and that's pretty much it. We're charitable organizations in the community that fit the 501c3 status, and we all kinds of when possible we like to sort of represent a variety of types of organizations. So, as Dana read the list of the beneficiaries from last year's raffle, we had an organization that supports work with children, one that supports caring for animals, one that supports environmental concerns, and one that just kind of supports the general welfare of the wider community with the Jimmy Stewart airplane. So we enjoy being able to sort of spread it out across different types of charitable organizations when we can.
Yeah, and of course the raffle itself is the fund. That's the funding mechanism not only for this, but basically for everything that Rotary does.
Well, actually, the Rotary Luxury Raffle funds are specifically for this program.
Okay.
It doesn't benefit us in terms of operating capital, that kind of thing. We use dues and other opportunities for those revenues, but the money raised at the Luxury Raffle goes specifically back to the community in Indiana County. We're proud of the fact that we're able to, as I said earlier, since 1994, we've put together about $430,000 in grant requests, which I think is a nice hit for the community.
Yeah.
I know that there are organizations out there that are looking for additional money. I think the key becomes crafting the grant application so it meets the guidelines in terms of new project, brick and mortar, something perhaps that doesn't already exist that with the benefit of the grant would happen, otherwise not in Indiana County.
All right, so somebody who is out there and has been listening to this and said to themselves, well, it sounds like something really, really interesting, and maybe our group that has been searching for funding to get this thing off the ground, and maybe they've never done anything like this before, this would be the time.
Absolutely, yeah. There are some organizations that send in applications periodically, and we're happy. There are some existing organizations that we support from time to time repeatedly, but we're always happy to get applications from new organizations that we haven't heard from before. That's always an exciting thing for us to be able to sponsor a new agency as well as a new project.
Yeah. So when they get that application online, what are some of the things that they need to? I'm sure that when you fill out an application and it's the first time, you might have questions. What are some of the things that they will be answering on that application data?
Well, the application asks for a discussion about what the grant is specifically for, how many people in Indiana County would benefit from the project, also looking at the long-term community impacts for the project. How important is it? We'd also like to know, are there other funding sources that the 501c3 is benefiting from so that we can put that into perspective. We're also asking for a basic budget showing the cost of materials or the equipment to be purchased. It's a pretty basic funding application. Anybody who has experience in an organization can do it. It's basically 2 pages, cut and dried, and again, the application itself is available on the Rotary website at indianarotary.org, and we need to have those grant requests in by the 28th of June.
Very good.
Right, and it could be submitted either by a member of the organization's board or by their primary administrator, executive officer. So. Mm-hmm. And if it's a project that will continue on after this next year that we do funding, we'd also ask for some description from them of how they expect to continue to fund it beyond the year that Rotary will be supporting it.
Yeah, it's very important, isn't it, that if you're going to support a program such as whatever this proposal is, that you know that Dana, you use the word lasting. It has to have a lasting impact.
Yeah.
I'll use the example a couple of years ago. We funded downtown Indiana on the black benches that you see throughout the downtown business district. And we did that, as Bill said, over a course of 3 years. Mm-hmm. So we weren't able to do the whole chunk, but we were able to split it up into 3 years, made the project happen, and that was part of the sustainability.
Right. Rotary International is over 100 years old, and the Indiana Rotary Club is in, I think, we're 98th year. So we're really all about having a lasting impact in our community.
Yeah, absolutely. You think down through those years, how many people have been helped in how many ways, going back almost 100 years. It's mind-boggling, isn't it?
It's always amazing to go back through the archives and see the people who certainly came before us at Rotary. It's such an auspicious organization, and I would say we're always looking for new members. We meet every Monday at the Ramada Inn along the Jimmy Stewart Boulevard. So if you have an interest in being a Rotarian, we're looking for those memberships too.
Beautiful. All right, get that application in. Now's the time. And you said, June 28th is the deadline?
June 28th is the deadline.
And the website again to download that application?
www.indiana county.
No.
I'm sorry. indianarotary.org. www.indianarotary.org.
He's not even wearing
remind
a hat.
Dana what hat he's wearing. That's right.
He's not even wearing a hat right now. But gentlemen, thanks so much for coming in. We
Thank you,
appreciate
Todd.
it.
Thanks for the time, Todd.
It is the voice of Indiana County, WCCS AM 1160 and 101.1 FM.